So I'm sure it has become clear to you that Team Biden desperately wants to just move on from Afghanistan. So what do? They call it a huge success, hoping you'll just forget about it. But the stranded Americans in Afghanistan can't just move on and forget about it. They're trying to survive. And the military men and women who risk their lives over there can't just move on either. In fact, they're angry. According to texts obtained by Just the News, texts between U.S. military commanders and private citizens, one Army colonel got enraged by the order to leave American citizens behind. The text reads, quote, "Everyone is having a hard time getting in the gate. AMCITs, short for American citizens, can't get past Taliban checkpoints. We are effed. Abandoning American citizens." You can just feel the disgust in that text. This order to leave Americans behind is despicable. And don't forget, earlier this week, the White House conceded Joe Biden granted himself a very special waiver to avoid providing Congress a legally required report on the dangers of an Afghanistan withdrawal. That report was due earlier this summer. Well, he didn't want to give him that. Why? Because this was all about optics and perception, and he ignored reality. Well, joining me now is former CIA analyst, former chief of staff for the National Security Council, and president and CEO of the Center for Security Policy, Fred Fleitz is here. Fred, good to see you.
Hey, Grant, good to be here.
Fred, as a former CIA analyst, ignoring reality on the ground will get people killed. It did in this case.
Grant, remember when we used to laugh when Joe Biden would say things like climate change is the greatest threat to our national security? Nobody's laughing now. We now realize that having someone so clueless as commander-in-chief is really dangerous. This is a man who's completely responsible for one of the worst military operations in history for a photo op. He just wanted to say on 9/11, he got all U.S. troops out. He tied the hands of our military commanders. He blindsided the Afghan army, the Afghan military, our allies, and the lying. Grant, he called this an extraordinary success. Well, we know it's not an extraordinary success when 13 U.S. service members were killed unnecessarily. We left Americans behind, and we made the Taliban the best armed terrorist group on earth. Think about what our enemies must be thinking when they see the President of the United States saying something that's just so incredibly ridiculous.
Well, we know that that writing from Osama bin Laden came out that he says, go ahead and assassinate Barack Obama, assassinate anyone, just don't assassinate Joe Biden because he'll be a disaster and he'll give us everything we need. And it's certainly turning out to look that way. I want to play a soundbite from you from Joe Biden speaking about how inept he is, and it just seemed, from Kirby, seeming how inept the administration is about military strategy and how we're going to deal with the Taliban. Listen to this.
The U.S. military mission in Afghanistan is over. Courtney, what we will do is continue to be able to conduct over-the-horizon counterterrorism strikes as needed for threats to our interests and to the homeland. And we're absolutely going to do that. But that's a different thing than saying that we have an enduring military mission in Afghanistan.
Fred, they keep using this term over-the-horizon capabilities. Now, I know CIA agents that you used to work with had to be on the ground to lead military fighter jets, bombers in to where the points were to be bombed. How do we have over-the-horizon capability if we have no eyes on the ground in Afghanistan?
We won't. These unarmed, unmanned drones will have to fly almost 8 hours from the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Sea. They'll have very little time over target. They will be guided by satellites. And I think in most cases, if we try to use them, there will be large numbers of civilian casualties. We're not going to do this, Grant. This is just an opportunity for the Biden administration to say it's going to continue to get tough on terrorism in Afghanistan. Well, we all know it won't.
Yeah. You know, there's pictures now of Iran with military equipment. They say they're going to re-weaponize these vehicles and other military equipment. Do you believe, look, Iran's certainly capable of propaganda. Do you believe those pictures are legitimate, that the Taliban brought them that equipment?
I think they're legitimate. I believe there's a lot of sophisticated military equipment we left in Afghanistan that the Taliban can't use or is so valuable, it's better for them to sell it to Iran, Russia, and China. And this will also give them technological secrets that they did not have in some of these advanced helicopters and other equipment. This is such a catastrophe. And it's all because Biden was in such a hurry to withdraw from Afghanistan without a plan.
Yeah, General Boykin, Jerry Boykin, a real war hero, called it an epic, monumental, historic failure. And I don't know how else to describe it. Fred Fleitz, always good to see you.
Good friend of mine.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Yeah, he's a good man, and he's a good guy to know, too. Thank you, Fred.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.